Hello, I'm Envy and welcome to Envyco Gaming. In this video I'm going to introduce Shroud of the Avatar. This is a game that I've been following since way back in 2013 when it was kick-started. The game has been branded as a spiritual successor to Richard Garriott's early work, primarily the Ultima series and Ultima Online. The game is also being pitched at different player bases. When fully launched, it will cater for single players offline and online, friends only, and also a fully open mode that is more akin to the classic MMO. This video will focus primarily on character creation, introduction quests, and general controls and the interface. So without further ado, let's jump in. Once you actually log into the game, assuming it's the first time you've done so, you'll enter the character creation. Just as a little side note before I go any further, up in the top left hand corner of the screen you'll see the release. As you can see, this is still pre-alpha and the date of this release was the 2nd of March 2015. Okay, back to the character creation. First you can enter your name. I'm going to enter Envyco Gaming, and it will do a cross check to see whether or not that name already exists. If it's unique, it'll have a little green tick next to it. You can then choose between your gender, female or male, as well as your skin tone and your character size. Across the top is the general panel, so you can click on hair and choose the colour of your hairstyle, and if you wish to have any facial hair. If you click and turn, you can see the profile of your character. Click on eyes, you can choose the colour, as well as making general optimizations over the way in which they look by just sliding the bars. And you can do the same for things like your nose, cheeks, mouth, as well as your jaw. But for now, we'll just leave everything as is. Once you're happy with your character, click Create Character. Once the scene is loaded, you will find yourself in the tutorial at the Battle of Solace Bridge, and you will automatically enter into a conversation with Edvard the Wanderer. Just to the right of the screen is a little box which says Edvard's trying to help. This fills up with hints. For the purpose of this video, I'll close it down. To the bottom left, you'll see the chat bar, which is contained within a tab of Edvard the Wanderer. This indicates that we're actually in a conversation with him. And he's actually asking us a question on whether or not we have a sword, and if we need one. And of course the answer is yes, we do need one. He then tells me that the sword is in the weapon rack, and that to end the conversation I can type a goodbye or press escape twice. Once we're out of the conversation, we're now free to move, and the movement is the simple and classic WASD keys. To pan the camera around, you right click the mouse button and just turn. And there you can see the weapon rack with the sword in it. To pick up the sword, just hover over the sword, left click, drag, and just drop it on your character. We now have the sword, and we now need to talk to Edvard again. To do this, we just double click him. It'll then go back into the chat scene, and he will tell us that there's a training dummy where we can practice with our sword. So once again, let's close the window. And you can see, just slightly north, is the practice training dummy. Now to attack this, we need to be equipped with our weapon. To do this, you press Z. And to attack, we just double click the target. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see a number of fixed glyphs. These are the special moves and tactics which we can use in the game. I'll come on to this a little later. But for now, we need to talk to Edvard again. To put the weapon away, once again you press Z. He now tells us of the Lunar Rift, which will take us to Braemar, but along the way we'll find a few skeletons that we'll need to kill. So without further ado, let's make our way to that Lunar Rift. Once again, we need to equip our weapon by pressing Z, and now we can attack the skeleton. Once the glyph lights up, you can click the glyph to conduct the special move. To loot a corpse, you just double click on the corpse when it says loot. And you'll see on this, there's 16 gold and a rusty sword. Let's take all. And we continue down over the bridge. To zoom out so you're not so close to the character, you can use your mouse scroll wheel and scroll it backwards. This can make things easier whilst in combat. Now we're over the bridge, we can put our weapon away by pressing Z and approach Edvard, and we will automatically go back into a chat. He wishes us luck, and now we can head to the Lunar Rift. Slightly up the hill, and you can see the blue light indicating its location. Once we're at the rift, we just double click it and it will take us to Braemar. Once the scene is loaded, you'll find yourself in the small village of Braemar, and now is a good time to quickly go through the game interface, just to familiarise yourself. To the top left is your health bar, which is red, and your focus bar, which is blue. Your focus bar will deteriorate should you take part in any strenuous activities such as running or jumping, and if you're in combat, if you're casting spells or using special combat moves. It's more akin to the classic mana and stamina bar, but combined into one. In the centre, you'll see the compass. As you can see, we're facing north, and the name of the area which you're in, which is Braemar. You can toggle this on and off by pressing the letter M. To the top right, you'll see the window selector, which gives you the options of various windows which you can open, such as your inventory, character sheet, skills, glyphs, decks, etc. You also see a shortcut to your character sheet and your inventory, as well as options, help, report bugs, and upgrades and add-ons. For the time being, we're only really going to be looking at the character sheet and the inventory. If we click the character sheet, you'll see the classic paper doll appear. On here you can see what armour you're wearing, so the chest armour, leggings, shoes, gloves, and whatever weapon you're actually holding, and also what you're holding in your offhand. There's also an area where you can put something in for your head, such as a helmet. Towards the bottom you'll see your character level, which is 5, your experience points, your production level, your health points, focus points, strength and dexterity and intelligence. All of these have an impact on your character during combat. You'll also see how much gold you're carrying, as well as encumbrance. If you click on your inventory, you'll see a list of everything which you currently carry. And you'll see some of the rusty swords which we picked up earlier on in the game. These are also organised into various categories such as equipment, crafting, housing and consumables. You'll also notice that within your inventory you have a map of Braemar. You can open this by simply double clicking. The map will appear and you'll see yourself as a little red arrow within the area. You can zoom in and out to get an idea of the area which you're in. For now, we're just going to have a little stroll around. You'll see you come across the banker and town crier. If you double click him, you'll actually open up your bank box. And there's a lot of items which we've collected due to pledge levels. This will conclude the tutorial for now, but please join me in a later video where we can do some more extensive exploring and levelling, and we can look at the combat glyph system. So for now, goodbye.